detective remembered that I worked there because I actually used to sell firearms there, and I sold a couple to him. Okay? So, they went to the pawn shop first, and they asked for me. And they're like, dude, he hasn't been here for a while. He's over at a comic book shop. And like, okay, cool, thanks. And they're like, wait, why do you need him? And they're like, we think that he shot a guy. And apparently, my bosses over there laughed at them too. And they're like, are you sure it was him? And they're like, we're pretty certain he matches the MO. He matches the description. Okay? Keep that in mind that they stated that I match the description. It gets better. So, they're like, yeah, no, Corey wouldn't do that. Unless there was a very good reason, there's no way he would have done that. So, let's go to where I was getting interrogated. So, apparently, I got into the cop car, drove all the way down, and I was just sitting there chatting it up with the police officer. She was up in the front driving, and I was in the back, and I was like, dang, this, like, straight up is Bellsprout! Sorry. I was like, damn, this is really fucking uncomfortable. So I was sitting there making jokes and stuff like that, and getting the person to laugh, because that's what I do whenever I'm fucking nervous about getting arrested and or I don't know, I don't want to get fucking shot. Go fucking figure. But so making jokes, all that fun stuff, we got all the way over there and got into the interrogation area and all that fun jazz. And so they started, I hit the wrong button. God damn it. So the first thing that he says, it was the detective that knew me from the pawn shop, and he goes, so just to let you know, did you hear what happened last night? And I was like, not really, which was slightly a lie on my part, because I heard something that there was something that happened down where we were, and he was like, there was a shooting. I was like, oh no, is the guy all right? And he goes, he's stable, he's fine. And just letting you know, the reason why we picked you up was because you matched the description. And also, we are not racially profiling you because I am mixed too. I am not profiling you. And needless to say, the only way you would ever know if this guy was mixed was because he had curly hair and his nose looked similar to mine. And I was like, maybe. And also, I knew from before. But it was so funny that he had to clarify. And I was like, are you sure? And I was like, so what? And he's like, do you normally wear a beanie? And I was like, yes. But in the last 3 weeks, I have not. Because I have been with my 3-week-old child. Because he was just born. And I didn't want to get throw up on my beanie. Which kind of made one of them chuckle. Because there's a guy that was in the corner taking notes the entire time, mind you. So, needless to say, after a while, we kept him talking. He was interrogating me. Where was I? Did I have anybody else with me? Blah, 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 blah. And, and then, this was my favorite fucking part. For a good 5 or 10 minutes, he was discussing with me about his son and should he let his son get cornrows or not. And I was like, yeah, it's a very protective way to wear your hair, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, wait the fuck a minute. I'm being interrogated right now. I could be, like, I am under arrest, sir. Why are you asking me for advice about cornrows? A man was shot. Oh my God. It was out of a sitcom. So they're like, okay, so we're going to go and call your wife, call your roommates, and see if your alibi sticks. So they called. The walls are fucking paper thin. I could hear the entire conversation they were having with them. And I was just like, what else were they fucking expecting? But Needless to say, at the very end of it, I was like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of investigating of my own. So I was like, okay, here's the question. What caliber of firearm did they use in the shooting? And they're like, well, it was a 9mm. Do you own a 9? And I was like, yes, I own a 9mm, but it's been in a safe for the past 2 months. And they're like, oh, okay. Do you have it on you? I was like, it's in a safe the past 2 months. But needless to say, after a while, they let me go and they went and searched my vehicle. And they're like, is it okay if we search your vehicle? I was like, sure. You already took me from work for 3 fucking hours. Sure, do it. I don't care. I'm not hiding anything. So they searched my vehicle, all that fun jazz, took pictures of everything. And then after all this, I went back to work and she goes, are you okay? Is everything all right? And I was like, yeah, they thought I shot a guy. And she goes, they thought you shot a guy? I was like, yes. They're like, why would they even think that? I was like, I don't fucking know. And I almost forgot to ask. I almost forgot to say this before. But during the interrogation, I asked them, what was the description of the person? They said a black male. Basically, they didn't say a black male. My bad. They said a male with a beard, long hair, and dark skin. And I was like, really? And you guys picked me up. And they're like, well, you matched the MO, and we saw that because we ran your tags at the stoplight. And I was like, okay, whatever. But here comes my favorite part. So after I asked them about the 9mm, I was like, okay, so what do you think happened? I mean, why would somebody shoot them? Was there a confrontation? What was it? And they said, we think that the perp who shot the other guy got scared. And I sat there and looked at him for a second. I was like, you bell sprout! No, I didn't say that or yelled that at him. But I sat there and I was like, are you kidding me? And he looked at me and was like, what? I was like, you think the guy got scared and then turned around and shot the guy? And they go, well, yes, that's what we think. And I was like, I didn't say this out loud. I was like, you daft motherfucker. How do you think that makes sense? Did somebody just walk up in Cordoba and then somebody's sitting there ordering and they goes, oh, I want extra beans. And the other guy goes, oh, shit. And it just shoots the guy. That's not what happens. Did somebody fart and then scare another guy and that fucking shot him? No. So I looked at him and I was like, that makes no sense. I mean, I would assume that it had to have been some sort of altercation or something. And the person in the corner started writing down faster, writing notes down. And I was like, I'm not saying I did it, but saying that it was somebody got scared and then shot another guy does not seem like a good enough excuse. And I just sat there. I was like, this is so fucking stupid. But needless to say, I got back, all that fun jazz. And whenever the next day came around, I actually messaged one of my friends who was a police officer in the same force. I was like, hey, am I still like a suspect or something? They said that like they'll keep in touch or something. Do I have to worry that I'm going to get arrested again or detained again? And he goes, no, actually, whenever it comes down to it, they stated that you're not a suspect anymore. And also you're the nicest person they've ever brought in to interrogate. And I was like, yeah, I was being fucking nice. I didn't want to get shot. Can I get extra pickles? Pickles! Shot 50 times in the chest. Yeah, I am too. So, it was the funniest shit ever because whenever I told my brother, who is of the same ethnicity as I, go figure, he goes, dude, why the fuck did you even talk? I would have not said anything and sued the fuck out of him. And I just sat there and was like, because I have a 3-week-old son that I don't want my wife to be left with because she just gave birth. Excuse the fuck out of me. I don't want her to deal with that because she is still healing. And then my mom's like, well, I guess this is a good learning experience. And I was like, fucking learning experience? What the fuck you mean by learning experience? Is this motherfucker a Snorlax over here? But yeah. Oh my god. It was something different. And mind you, I am, unfortunately, with the job that I work being the pawn shop, I am quite well known in my town. Like, all over I'm well known. And it just was fucking hilarious to me that they're like, yep, this guy fucking did it. He fucking shot him. Bet you money. I'm like, dude, no. Not anywhere close, man. But yeah, that was the time that I got detained because they thought that I fucking shot a guy. God damn, why do you have 2 Caterpies? In case one of them gets lost. And also, why have you not leveled any of these motherfuckers up at all? Oh my gosh, you're gonna send out a Weedle? Oh, let me put my big boy pants on real fast and fucking Ember. Kind of funny because my dog's name is actually Ember. The foe Weedle fainted. Oh, damn. I've gained experience points. Oh my gosh, you have another Caterpie. Go figure. I would have never guessed. I mean, I've talked myself out of getting arrested multiple times. Actually, one time, me and one of my exes, years and years and years and years and years ago, we decided to go to the lake and swim, but we didn't have swim trunks. So we swam in our underwear. Go figure. We're in college. Why not? So we were swimming, I think it was like at 10 o'clock at night. And needless to say, after this, they actually started closing this place. Oh, nice. Good job. And gotta send it to me. But this place got closed up later on. Earlier, and I think it was because of us. So the crazy thing was that we were swimming, all that fun jazz, and then whenever we were getting out, somebody fucking pulled up and bra and panties, and I was in my underwear, but we had towels. So the thing was that whenever we did that, we were still kind of wrapped up, and we were walking, and this cop, it's actually a cop, pulls up with a fucking flashlight, flashing it in our eyes. It's like, are you two decent? I was like, the fuck? Ow. Number one, light in my goddamn eye. Number two, what? It's like, were you all skinny dipping? And I looked at him, I was like, no, we have clothes. And it's like, let me see. And I was like, what do you mean let you see? Do you want me to just drop trout and like drop my... If I was fucking naked and I dropped this towel, you're going to be seeing a twig and berries right then and there. But my girlfriend at the time, now ex, showed her bra strap, which I mean, come on, bra, bikini, literally the same thing. Almost. But showed that, and I guess this guy didn't know what a fucking bra was, because he thought, I was like, yeah, that looks like a swimsuit. And then I was like, yeah. And I showed slight, but they bunched up a little bit, so it kind of looked like a swimsuit. He goes, all right, you guys are good, but you guys are here later than what you're supposed to be, so get on out of here. I was like, we're already leaving. It's just that we swam longer than we anticipated. We don't have our watch on us because our watches aren't fucking, waterproof. But yeah, that was another run-in with the police. There's some crazy... I can't believe how many times I've had run-ins with the police.